Chapter 8. All right, let's talk a little bit about text and music. Song is simply the union of music with words. There's non-lexical syllables, which you might think of la 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 la, fa la 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 la, jazz vocal improv. That's called scat singing or wordless vocables. There's vocalese, which is wordless vocal melodies or singing on a neutral vowel. A lot of times you might find this in religious music. Sacred music or religious music is also most often in early times going to be set in the language that it was for the church, the most common language, Hebrew, Greek, Latin. The Roman Catholic Church, which for many, many years was the largest church and where a lot of music came from, was all of the text was in Latin. So all of the music is going to be set to Latin text. That was considered the language of learning during the medieval and the Renaissance. Then you had secular music or non-religious music, which is sung in what they refer to in the book as the vernacular, or the language of the people. When you talk about texts, you have to realize that often they don't translate perfectly. So if you've got a song that was originally written in Italian, the English version is not going to translate exactly because of how the poetic and the syntax works. Composers use a variety of different types of texts to set to music. They may have a pre-existing poem. They may have the words that just preceded the tune. They could combine with a lyricist, the composer could, and they could work together to develop a song. But in a song, the text helps organize the tune. Remember, we talked about those repetitions and contrasts. Well, the words and the melodies flow in different phrases. So, in common musical settings, which I've talked to you about with contemporary music that we listen to on the radio, strophic form is going to be the same music for each stanza. And then you're going to have your chorus. Again, the words and the music recur after each stanza. You might have syllabic, which is one note per syllable. You might have melismatic, which you might have many notes per syllable. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's some melismatic, so many different notes to one or a few syllables. Pneumatic, you're going to have a few notes to each syllable. And I want to introduce word painting. We'll talk about this much later, but word painting is when you take music, you want to use that music to really give image to what the word says. So, for instance, if you're talking about heaven, you might have a high sound. If you're talking about the grave, you would have a low sound, a low tune, or a tone. So, word painting became very common and helped to add more picture to the song or the composition by giving that meaning of the words in the music. Examples of text setting styles that we talked about syllabic, we've got Hallelujah, Hallelujah, syllabic. One note set to each syllable of the text. Pneumatic, and he shall reign forever and ever. Sometimes there's multiple notes, a few notes, I should say, set to one syllable. And then, this is all from Handel, a melismatic text. This one's a little more difficult, and I'm not singing it according to the pitch that it's written, but O daughter of Zion, rejoice. Oh, I'm finding my opera stuff. So you see all those notes to one little syllable. Rejoice, the ois part. Anyway, so that's an example of melodic, or excuse me, melismatic. Thank you.